All right. What it do? Javier Starks, aka the OneWheel Wing, baby. Back again with another episode of Roll Call. This time, bringing one of my favorite sponsors, a good friend, close ally, all around great human being who tells it like it is. Well known in the community for helping countless riders, Bob Nicholson from Bob's Stoke Shop.
What up? What up?
How you feeling? You feeling good? You feeling? I know you've been working on stuff. What you been working on? What's your most recent project? What was the last thing you fixed?
I just put in a tilt kit right before I came.
Okay, okay. I'll throw that link in. I'll throw that clip in the video so they can see it. You doing the tilt kit? That was like a reel that you posted up. That was fresh. Okay, cool. All right. So for people who don't know, tell the world who Bob is.
Well, I have a one-wheel repair shop out in Northern California, Nevada to be exact. Um, I'm also one of the owners of Stoke Life Service. We started that all about I think like 2019, I believe. It's
Okay.
getting a long time now.
And Stoke
Uh,
Life Services, what exactly?
it's basically a listing service for all PEV repair shops. We started with one wheels, and now we branched off into pretty much everything: UC, e-bike, scooters, everything. Pretty much, and if it runs on batteries, we can at least attempt to fix it.
Word. Okay. That's what's up. I'm gonna start the video right now so we have something to watch in the background at the 2 minute mark. Yeah, so y'all repair everything, not just one wheels. That's electric scooters, electric skateboards, electric bikes, everything, the stuff that people are seeing in the video right now. All of these things you're looking at.
Yep.
Bob and his incredible friends repair these things. How long have you been repairing electric vehicles? Has that always been a passion, like since you were a kid, or is it just something you like grew into?
No, I got a one wheel. I think it was like 2017 or two of them. I bought two pluses. I pre-ordered them for me and my son,
Okay.
and about 2 3 weeks after they got here, my son jumped off of it and ghosted the board into a curb. Busted I mean, now I know what caused it. It busted the inductor, which made the board just completely dead. I've never been so mad at that kid in his life.
Oh my
um
gosh. Uh-huh.
and I had to send it to Future Motion. I mean, turnaround time wasn't that bad. It was like 2 weeks, but I mean, I live an hour away. I could have drove it there and back quicker. So
Okay.
after that, I just started hearing a lot of people. I mean, I started doing a lot of tire changes and stuff locally for friends and local riders. And I mean, I did it all for free probably for about a year. And then it got to be taking up so much of my time, I had to start charging. And it kind of has grown from there. The whole the name of my shop was even just a joke. One of my friends tagged me, he said, I'm down here at Bob's Stoke shop, he just pimped out my board and blah blah blah. And I was like, that's a pretty cool name.
Nice. Okay, word. That's funny. Huh. So the
Yeah.
name was just like so
Yeah.
casual. It wasn't something you sat back and planned. All right.
No, not at all. And like I was one of the first 10 shops pretty much in the United States, at least that I know of. Um, and all of us kind of banded together and started Stoke Life. And now I think there's over, like, I think we're over 50 shops now internationally.
Word. Yo, word. Congratulations. That's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah.
It's always good to have people like you in a community. In every community, we need people who help keep things going. No no coincidence that we crossed paths back when I was like probably like 5,000, 6,000 miles. I don't know how I found out about you. I think someone had one of your chargers at Float Life Fest. And they were like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was, I think it's Dan Bernier actually who put me on to you. And I reached out and I don't know what I said. I probably was like, please, man, I need help. Something of that nature. And I remember you helped me through my first dead battery experience. And then from then on, you were pretty much in my corner, just looking out, blessing me with different things, objects, items, wisdom, suggestions, tires. I mean, you were the reason why I tried to burst slick, because I wasn't riding burst slick before, and fell in love with the SS11 because of you. And then that relationship with Burris bloomed into a sponsorship. So like you were practically directly responsible for me finding a tire sponsor. And yeah, man, I can never even begin to thank you for everything you've done for me. I am forever grateful, forever a fan, man. Like truly.
Yeah, man, no problem. I'm happy to do it. That's the whole reason why I do this, because I love the community. I love the board. I never thought in my life that a stupid electronic skateboard would change my life as much as
Right.
it has.
Wow. That's powerful. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. That is how many of us can say that? Probably many of us would say the same thing.
Quite a lot.
Yeah, yeah, which is crazy, and many of us will also say that we have had moments in time where our boards have broken, and many of us will be able to say, "Oh, well, it was just doomed. They couldn't do anything about it." But when someone like yourself is in the picture, then those types of things start changing. What was the first? Oh, well, you said you sent that to back to Future Motion. What was the first thing that you fixed? Do you remember the very first thing you fixed or changed on your one wheel?
I think it wasn't on my board. It was for a local guy. I think it was an inductor,
Okay.
or no, it was a I think it was like a PCB port, one of the round ports
Okay.
inside
Okay.
the
Got you.
controller.
Right. 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 Where
And
where
I
the
overheated the controller, and I broke some traces, and I kind of smoked the controller, so I had to
woo,
replace it for the guy.
don't crash this now.
Um,
Oh my gosh.
there's
All right. You told him though
I'm
that you broke it.
Yeah, I told them that I'm very on. I mean, if you ask any of my customers, I'm super honest. I'm way up front with everything. And I think communication is pretty much one of the most important things when you're working on somebody's baby,
Heck
because
yeah.
people can get pretty angry very quick if you mess something up, or do something that they don't want done to it. That, believe me, they'll let you know.
Right. Yeah. No, but that, like you said, that communication is critical. When you have your hands on something so precious to people, and but at the same time, you want people to be on the same page, just like they made a mistake and they broke it. No mechanic is perfect either, and if he makes mistakes and he's willing to admit he makes mistakes, most people will be like, "Ah, that's cool. If you can fix it, all good, bro." I mean, it was broken already, so if I
Yep.
get it back working, all the
I
better.
I replaced it. I bought them. I didn't. I got them. I think I took one of my controllers and just gave it to him. It had I had three boards at the time, and I had a board with like a couple hundred miles on it. And I just said, you know what? I broke it. So here's my controller. That's kind of what I've always done. If I can't fix something, I usually don't even charge somebody because I feel bad I can't fix it.
Right, respect.
Sometimes the controllers come in and they're just smoked, and I have to just say, man, you got bad news. You're done. You got to
Right,
find
right,
another
right.
controller.
Yeah, no, there've been a couple times you and I have talked. You were like, "Well, touch the connectivity thing to
Yeah.
these two things, and if it makes a noise, it's just Pantera's dead." And luckily, it wasn't. But we've had some moments. We're probably about halfway through the chat. I guess I don't want to waste too much time talking to you about silly things, but I remember you told me about how the front foot pad should be replaced probably like, ooh, look at that, every 1,000 or so miles, which is something I never heard of. Um, do you want to expound on that a little bit and then get into maybe just a list of some of the things that people should keep an eye out on their one wheel for in general, like things that
Yeah.
just
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah,
the front foot pad.
the front foot pads, they have a warranty, of 600 miles. And I mean,
Oh,
some guys come in and they've got 2,500 miles on their sensor, and the thing is just look like somebody chewed on all the edges, things halfway peeled up, and then they're wondering why their board is ghosted. And for me, if you're ever having a sensor problem, don't try to fix it. Don't be cheap. Just buy the new sensor, buy a used sensor, borrow one from a friend. It there it that is the most critical part of your entire board, in my opinion, because if it sticks, what's going to happen? You're going to ghost the board. They always seem to like aim for poles when that happens too, so they get totally destroyed. And they go
Right.
backwards, so your BMS can either be busted, or your battery can catch on fire, or even break the BMS in half. I've seen a few times, um, because of it hitting a pole at 30 miles an hour.
Right. So y'all heard what Bob said. He said if your front foot pad is ghosting on you, it's worn. He said they have a 600-mile warranty. You should be replacing them about every 600 to 1,000 miles, but don't try to. I was literally watching someone on Instagram fixing a front foot pad themselves, and I've seen all types of crazy stuff where people have extended the leads from the foot pad. And like, yo, I said the same thing you said. Do not do that. You heard it from the man himself. Bob said, don't fix your own front foot pads.
Yeah.
Don't be cheap. Just buy another one. Right. Correct.
I mean, for me, it's cheap. I know it's not the answer people want to hear half the time, but I'm like, you know what? Like, once it sticks one time, it's going to stick again. And then, I have kids. I think, like, I've seen boards fly across parks and almost hit toddlers.
Oh my God.
Think about that. A board hitting a toddler at like 30 miles an hour.
Yeah,
what's going to win?
Yeah.
The board.
He said, what's going to win?
I mean, I don't even want to think about what would happen to the
Right.
kid.
Right, for sure. Yeah, no. And we have to think about that. That's a lawsuit, man.
Well, for me, it's all liabilities.
Mhm.
So for me, like, if you don't want to change it, I go, all right, well, you know what? Here's my recommendation. If you don't want to listen, now it's on you, because I've told you flat out, just buy a new sensor.
Right.
And then I've had a few times where people have came back and their board ghosted into something, and they were like, I should have listened. And I was like, I had the pad right here even.
Right. Oh man. Okay. Yeah. When you have it on deck, that was what I was telling someone before. I'm like, yo, if you have the money, like, don't do that.
Yeah, and I've usually got 5 different grades of, like, either used, new in the box, or like semi brand new or brand new, like just took off a board that only had a couple hundred miles on it.
That's good to know.
That's pretty much brand new.
Yeah, no, that's good to know. So Bob, you carry used parts as well. So you sell used parts as well.
Oh yeah, I've got a pretty decent sized junkyard. That's why I'm always able to help you out with stuff.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I just sent the tire sire, Matt Ligori, out in Chicago. I sent him like 14 sets of rails that were damaged. I mean, they're more damaged than you want to sell anybody. And he was looking to do some cool projects around his shop with. And, he was happy.
Well, yeah, and Matt is a good guy. He helped me out at the last Footlight Fest. He swapped all the components from one board to back to what it was before I did my anti-magic on it.
Yeah, that was a great time having 5 of us under one tent.
Heck yeah, y'all were working, man. I felt blessed to be able to hang out with y'all while you're in your element and see you doing your thing. So besides the front foot pad, what are some other things, or at least not even just some other things that people should replace? What are some things that people should keep an eye out for? Like if they get a certain error code, or if, what are some things like that people should?
To me, I think the most important thing is to carry a Allen wrench in, I believe it's an 1/8 inch.
Okay.
That fits almost every screw on your board, and, put one in your, every single aftermarket product pretty much comes with a wrench.
Yeah.
So you should have one in your pocket, maybe one in your backpack you keep just every time you ride, and go over your board every so often, every other ride or every couple rides. Just make sure everything's nice and tight. You don't have to overdrive things through the float plates or the bangs. Just make sure they're snugged up. If anything's loose, I mean, if you like to do tricks mainly, that's really important, because once they're all loose, they start blowing out the inserts that are in the controller, the battery box. Everything starts to fall apart. You get squeaks and cracks and rattles, and you just wonder why. And it's mainly because the thing's damn near ready to fall apart the entire time.
Very true. Yeah, I keep the hub bolt Allen key and the silver bolt Allen key and regular Allen keys, multiple ones on me. My girl's like, can't we just throw some of these away? I'm like, man, someone's gonna use them. I got like 30 of them. I'm like, someone's gonna need one. But yeah, that is important. He said just tighten them up after every ride.
Yep.
Heck
And
yeah.
and the hub bolts are really, really important too, because you can end up, stripping out your axle. You end up it just creates a ton of problems with the motor if your hub bolts are loose. And those are the inner chrome ones, not the black ones on the outside. I always tell people, are they tight? Are they tight? And they're like, yeah, they're tight. And then I go, the chrome ones, they're like, no, they're black. And I'm like, those aren't the hub bolts.
Right.
So it's the ones inside those holes, inside that center hole. You look in there, and between the two black bolts, those are the chrome ones everybody's talking about. That's your hub bolts.
Right. Those are my favorite bolts because they affect how the board responds. I remember in the beginning, I thought I kept telling you, my motor's weak, my motor's weak. You're like, motors don't do that. And we thought it was the battery, and then we realized like once I tightened those bolts, the board rode very close to like new again. I was like, oh, this is fast again. So
Yep.
yeah, those silver bolts are my best friends. I snapped a bunch of those, but they're still my best friends.
Well,
But
whenever it sounds like you got like a lightsaber in your wheel too, that's a dead giveaway that your hub bolts are loose.
okay. That's good to know.
Because the
Yeah.
motor, it doesn't just go, it's balancing up to 14,000 times a second. So that's not just rotating forward. That's also, going back and forth if you're going slow.
Right.
So that's what that vibration is it's going back and forth 14,000 times a second, which can make them even more loose. So putting on a good thread locker like Vibratite gel,
Okay.
that's like my favorite.
You said
Um,
Vibratite? Is it a
yeah,
specific color?
yeah, blue. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
The Vibratite, there's a YouTube guy that did a test on all the different thread lockers. And everybody swears, oh, they use all the Loctite and all this. And Vibratite specs out double what the blue Loctite specs out
Wow,
at.
that's good to know. Yeah, I was using Loctite myself. Now I'm gonna switch over to Vibratite. Okay.
And a lot of people think like, oh, I put it on, I tighten it off, I take off. No, the best thing to do is mess with it the night before, let it dry by the next day, then nothing will come loose.
Right. Okay. Huh. Word. All right. That is good to know. And then another thing I saw is people have been putting certain screws in the wrong places.
Oh yeah,
And
that's
then
that's
go
the
for
most
it.
important thing.
Yeah,
the
putting
front,
the
the front,
back.
yeah, the front two screws on the rear foot pad, like the ones closest to the wheel,
Mm-hmm.
use a 1/4 inch, maybe a 3/8. I mean, unless you got flight fins, then I would do 1/2 inch to 5/8 at the very most. Never, never, never use the screws that come with a cush pad and put those in the front. I see
Oh,
that all the time. People
oh,
go, well, there was a screw in the back in the bumper. And I say, you're supposed to take those out. And then,
ah,
so that's the disconnect. I think people get the extra screws and they don't see any extra holes. And they're like, oh, I'm just going to drive it in here. I mean, I can't tell you how many boards I've had come in my shop that are completely dead, and it was because they cut their some wires that run to their controller that control on and off. Or I've heard of, and as well as you've seen, like many I mean, there's been a few fires from that.
mm-hmm,
All you have
mm-hmm.
to do is connect that black and red wire with a screw and you got an instant fire.
Oh my gosh. Okay. And then the last thing I'll ask you about, even though we're probably about to go over time a little bit, about the BMS. How delicate is it? Is it important that you unplug it in a specific manner? Would you suggest that the everyday person unplug it themselves? How if a person is having issues with their battery and they think it's their BMS, what should be the first couple steps?
The first couple steps, I mean, what I would do, if you have to buy the tools to take apart your board, I would take it to a Stoke Life service shop near you, is what I would
Okay.
do.
Okay.
Because I mean, unless you are used to working with electrical components, it's not. I mean, it's not something you should be doing, because just unplugging your BMS in the wrong order can break it, and that'll cost you a couple $100 to get it fixed.
Right. Good to know. Okay. And then so how do people find information regarding the Stoke Life service?
You can go to www.stokelifeservice.com, and
Okay.
you scroll down. There's a little map. We're in the middle of and then on the map, you zoom in and you find all the shops, you find the state you're in. If there's not a shop in your state, you can find the closest one to you and contact them, ask if they can handle this repair, and you ship it to them. And our turnaround time is probably a quarter of what it is for Future Motion. So
Okay. And now, how do people find you online? What's the best way?
You can find me at on Instagram, Bob's Stoke Shop, Facebook, or bobstokeshop.com. I have a website. I specialize in mainly like repair components, and a little bit of float life gear and some billow. But that's pretty much all I sell for now. I may have
Okay.
some t-shirts coming, um, but yeah, mainly my whole focus is keeping people riding. That's where I get the most joy.
Word. Okay. And then I'll make sure I'll add your Instagram handle to the video. And then in the last 45 seconds, if you could tell the world anything about One Wheel or electric PVs, if you can give them one piece of advice specifically from Bob Nicholson, what would you tell them?
Be gentle with your harness, what your wiring harness. I know all these like lifting kits and leveling kits and all this is coming out, and I see people daily tweaking their harnesses really bad. Right now we're having a horrible shortage on repair supplies, so pretty soon everybody's not going to be kind of SOL. So that would be my advice. Just take good care of your harness, because right now I can't even get components to build any more of them.
Wow. Wow. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yo, thanks for making time. I know you're a busy man. You're a super busy man. Father, company, blah, blah, blah. You got a lot going on. Thank you for making time for this call, bro. And thank you for making time for me as many times as I know I've bothered the hell out of you so many times.
It's all good.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
I just got a lot of joy watching your journey go along the miles. And I think that was how it it wasn't even planned that I would sponsor you. It just kind of evolved into that. So,
True.
And we became friends along the way, which is even better.
Heck yeah, man. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. I ain't gonna keep you on the phone too much longer. It was great chatting. I'm gonna end this visual. And y'all, thank you, world, for tuning in. Bob, you want to say bye to the people? You want to sign this out?
Yeah, later on, everybody, get out there and ride some trails.
Peace.